Wow, drive-throughs. This week I want to talk to you about drive-throughs in the property market and current demands and attractions this type of property has as an investment vehicle. We all love a drive-through, whether it's a Costa, Starbucks, Greggs, Max or KFC. The majority of us will visit one during this week on our own or with our family, and that is why they become an important part of the property market. The concept of drive-throughs was driven by one of convenience and speed of service to make the requirements of our busy working world and general life. In the property world, locationally, these occupiers require row profile locations, and the general barometer in property terms for if a site location works would be for an operator drive-through to assess whether there's 20,000 vehicle movements a day. They love island locations on the road network, as we generally slow down at these and our respective children can shout, "Mummy, Daddy, can I have a Big Mac?" The original market in this sector was dominated by well-known brands like McDonald's and KFC. But since, we've seen new operators enter the arena. These have included companies like Tim Hortons and Boccia Felice, offering competition to the established market leaders. What has this done in the market arena? It's clearly made it more competitive. It's become a war about securing locations that has, of course, driven up rents. Operators in this sector, for obvious reasons, like to keep their rents that they paid confidential, as they do not want them to affect all their other locations in the UK at reviews and lease renewals. This would obviously have huge consequential effects on their estate holding and operational costs as a whole. Therefore, very often when we let to these operators, and as a practice, we do a lot in this property sector, you're required to sign up to what's called a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. However, in recent years, in general, we've seen rents move from £70,000 per annum to rents now being secured at close or above £100,000 per annum. It's therefore very important to use an agent who has access to rents achieved through their market activities. We are very strong in this sector and can assist. So what do these operators want? Well, in general, all these operators have requirements. They're set to a model generally around a total gross internal floor area of 1,800 square feet. Externally, of course, they require drive-through lanes and on-site car parking. And generally, these types of development on their own as one drive-through need to secure sites of around 0.75 acres. Clearly, if there are two drive-throughs on a site, this gives some site efficiencies and therefore lower site areas can be considered. What's happening in the market? Well, there's no sign of our desire for a coffee or a burger abating yet. As a practice, we do a large amount of drive-through lettings to operators, with currently 6 in solicitors' hands alone. We've also just recently marketed a site for Telford and Wrekin Council, and the level of interest has been very strong, and the proposals received from the operators are above our expectations. The property in this market sector continues to be driven so strongly by the strong trading performance of the existing operators and the new operators entering the market. We're seeing a continuation in rental growth in this property sector, and this has to be good news for developers and property speculators and landowners, of course, that have sites that would lend themselves to this type of development. Is it all good news? No is the answer to that. Whilst there's been strong rental growth in this sector, there has also been the effects of cost inflation associated with this type of development. Until recently, there has been very strong cost inflation associated to construction in general. The cost of construction has risen strongly in recent years. And of course, this sector is one generally hugely based around new build developments. To a degree, that is why rents have had to increase to meet the cost inflation associated with the developments, or they would not be financially viable. Interestingly, we're starting to see the cost inflation levels level off for contractors as their order books have softened in the last 12 months or so. Are drive-throughs good investments? The answer, of course, to that is personal. The answer is driven by your personal investment requirements. But drive-throughs offer easy to manage, secure, well-let investments. In addition, the letting terms generally included in these negotiations provide for rent reviews that are either at the higher of open market levels or rents subject to a cap and collar CPI or RPI index linked mechanism every year. This therefore offers investors guaranteed rental growth in some form. Very important consideration in investment terms. In addition, generally these investments are also let on long-term leases with no tenants breaks, generally 15 years, maybe 20 years, therefore offering an investor rental security. Clearly, these securities come at an investment cost. These investments generally trade in the market at between 5 and 6% initial yields. We as a practice advise clients on investment purchases and how these types of investments can fit into your investment strategy. Drive-through investments in particular can offer a strong foundation for any investment strategy going forward. So in conclusion, I see in the future more Costas, more Starbucks and more Greggs. If you have a site that may be suitable for a drive-through, please contact us, as the future is bright and the future is definitely drive-through.